Hey everybody, so today's review is going to be on Hush Hush by Rebecca Fitzpatrick, and real quick, it's about a girl named Nora Gray who gets a new lab partner in biology, and she ends up falling in love with him and discovering he's a fallen angel, and that's pretty much the basic story. I don't want to get in too much to a synopsis, but that's kind of the basic thing. Real quick, the good, the bad, and the overall grade of the book. That's how this video is going to go. So the things that were good, and I actually did enjoy this story, unlike a couple of other books I've read, I'm like, yay, finally one that I actually liked. I will admit that this is better than Fallen, and I only read 100 pages of Fallen. I am going to reread Fallen again, and the sequel, but I still have a feeling I'm not going to like it anyways. Oh well. What I liked about it was the main character, Nora Gray. One thing I liked is that I think she must have had a really strong relationship with her father, very close one, because even though he's dead in the book, because he was murdered, you can see bits and pieces of how you see that she still loves her dad very much, and that she loved him very much before. Like, for example, she has trouble dealing with her death. With his death, I'm sorry. With his death, she has to see a psychologist to talk about it. It affected her very deeply. Another thing is that her mom wanted to sell the house at one point in the story, and she said, please, Mom, don't do that. This is a great house and everything. And she didn't tell her mom the reason why she said that, but the reason why we learned is that all her memories of her father are there in the house, and she doesn't want to give that up yet. Sorry, it's bringing little tears whenever you talk about things like that. It kind of makes me sad. So, because I have a pretty close relationship with my own father. So, another thing is she also has a close relationship with her mom. However, the mom's working a lot since the dad did die. The mom has to take on the load of being, paying for the food, the electric, and all that. Being the provider for the house, since the dad was probably the one that did most of it. So she has to work long hours, is way often. And you can see that Nora really respects that, and she tries to do things where she makes sure that her mom doesn't have to take off time from work, doesn't have to quit that job, because that's the best job the mom can get. Doesn't have to quit her job so she can stay with Nora. She really understands that her mom has to do this, and which is really good. But you also see that when they do spend time together, you can see that she really does love her mom and really does love spending time with her mom, which is great, because in a lot of young adult novels that I've read recently, there hasn't been this close relationship between the parents and the child. And at first, I'm okay with it in some books, but when it gets to be something where it's in every young adult book, it gets annoying, and you're thinking, that's not how real relationships with children and their parents are out there. It's a variety that should be presented in books as well, even if it has a supernatural twist. Another thing that's great about Nora Gray that I liked is that she has a really strong relationship with her friend V. They were friends for a long time, since they were little kids, and you know they're gonna be friends even after high school. They have this long-lasting friendship, and she cares a lot for V. For example, when V is in danger, she goes and saves her friend. She doesn't have Patch do it. No one else does it. She does it. She goes in. She runs into the school, runs around trying to find where V is. Locked in whatever classroom or a locker or something. It was in a classroom actually, but she's trying to find V, and so she gets V out and tells V, you have to run, get the police, while she deals with the villain, Elliot. No, Chauncey. I'm sorry, Chauncey. Excuse me. Elliot is the accomplice, the human. My bad. Sorry. So that's what I like. Another thing I liked is that she has something other than reading books that, you know, most of the characters in other YA books, all you learn about them is that they love to read, right? Or at least the one thing about them is they love to read, and that's something they all have in common now. She plays the cello. The cello, I'm sorry. Why do I like that bit about her? Because I play the violin. Cello is in the same family of musical instruments. You know, I was in the high school orchestra, she's in the high school orchestra. And then another thing is that she actually does an extracurricular activity. Well, you know, none of the other girls were in book clubs or anything like that. But she's in the orchestra, and she's gonna put that on her, you know, that looks great on a college resume and everything like that. You know, oh wow, you're in the orchestra. That kind of thing. I was like, yay! And she, you know, music is fantastic, so that's thumbs up. I think that's part of the reason why Sailor Neptune is my favorite character in Sailor Moon. She plays the violin. I always have this word. Oh, I like the characters that play string instruments, because I absolutely love string instruments. Even though that doesn't really give me a real good reason to like a character, but hey, sue me. Another thing is that she wants to get into a really good college. Like, she's trying to get into Harvard. Yeah, that's kind of like, but hey, at least she's trying to get into, yeah, that's like, oh, Harvard, even though it is a good school, not everyone, you know, gets in, or things like that, whatever. But at least she's trying to go to college. I mean, most of the other characters don't even think about college very much. In fact, college doesn't come in until the later books, in some cases, or not at all. So it's nice to see her from the very beginning. She knows what she wants to do. She knows which college she wants. She knows what she has to do to get into that college, and she's going through that process. Moving on to, real quick, to Patch. He's in the middle, actually. What I like about Patch is that, unlike some of the other YA male characters, he gets bad grades instead of good grades, so he's not like super smart like all the other guys, or he can't do everything kind of thing. And he's not filthy rich. He actually has a part-time job at a Mexican restaurant. That's right, a Mexican restaurant. Part-time. That's how he earns his money. He works for a living. He's a waiter. That's what he does. Another thing that I like is her take on fallen angels. She actually opens up with a quote from the Bible, and I have my Bible right there on my shelf. No, I don't actually keep the Bible there all the time, but I brought it out for this video. However, I don't have time to look for the quote, but it was a quote about when Lucifer fell from heaven. And if you don't know this, Lucifer was an angel, and he decided to wage war against God, and so he had some other angels backing him up, and he lost, and so God cast him out of heaven, and all those other angels. And so he ended up becoming the devil, or Satan. If you want to know how I know this, well, first of all, I am the granddaughter of a former minister, and I used to go to Bible school. So that's how I know